The title of the play is Freedom Calls. I've been working on it on and off for about 2 years. I have to say it frightened me, which is why one of the reasons it has taken me 2 years, and I'm not at all saying that it's finished now. It's not, but it's certainly developing, and I feel like it developed quite a bit over the summer when I was in the Kennedy Center Summer Intensive Playwriting Workshop. Somehow at that point, and the workshop was the context, but not the kicker. I think I was thinking about COVID and where we are and how it's impacted us and how we tend not to have nearly as much dialogue as we once did, and we have more monologue. But it also seemed to fit the play itself, that some of these characters in the play feel quite isolated, and the notion of dialogue, even though it does exist and is present for them, is not necessarily the way in which they feel they are really communicating their feelings the best. So over the summer, I wrote some monologues, and I also worked more with the notion that had been with me since the beginning of writing the play, that it said in the initially said in the Civil War, and that the Civil War is not over, that it is dragging on and on and on and on. And it's a conundrum that in this society, in this culture, at other times and at this time as well, we collectively have not been able to, or perhaps have not been willing to, look at the expanse of who we are, what we mean to each other, and how we can move into a phase where hurting the other is not the bottom line. Mary Richards is an African-American woman who lives in the transition between slavery and freedom, although I will call it quasi-freedom and not full freedom. Mary Richards is an actual person who did live. What for me, and I imagine for some other people too, is quite extraordinary about her is that she was a spy. She was a spy during the Civil War, and she was a spy in a very, very dangerous circumstance. She took it upon herself to work in the Confederate White House in Richmond, to work for the president of the Confederacy and his wife, their children, in a very chaotic household. She was supremely educated. She had been sent to school in the North, and she had also gone to Liberia to work with some of the people there. There was a belief among some of the political groups that colonization was the way to go in terms of Black folks in America, especially those who were, quote, amalgamated, which was a term in use then, meaning that they were mixed, and also that they were educated. And so the idea was that educated people of color who may have connections to some of the leading families of the Confederacy or of the North as well, that they were disturbances and they had to be gotten rid of. They had to be sent away. They had to be exiled. They had to be colonized in another location. So for a period of time, she was colonized in Liberia, which was the main place at that time where those ideas were circulating. In fact, Liberia was created by the United States for that purpose. And its capital, Monrovia, was named after Monroe, who was president at that time. Mary Richards doesn't believe in that. She doesn't believe that she has to be exiled. She believes that she has a place in America. She believes that she deserves freedom as much as anyone else. And she's fighting for it. And she fights for it at very close range by being a spy and getting secrets, military secrets, from the Confederate White House into the hands of the military forces of the North. It's helped me in several ways. First, it's the first play that I've written, and I've tried some smaller plays, but I had never taken on something large, and I was very nervous. I didn't know if I could do this, and Play Lab became home for me. It became a place where I developed my sense of self in terms of being able to write this. I was continually being encouraged and maybe even pushed to write more and more and more. And even though I might have balked at that initially, it was exactly what I needed. The play is not finished. It's rough. And I know that this reading, this read through, this presentation will not be totally done, but it will be a big place for me to land and to see what I've done and to see how people react to it. Do my ideas resonate with others? Is this a topic that really matters now? That's what I want to know. And Play Lab has helped me formulate that question and is helping me to answer it when I get a sense of how the public will respond. I'd like them to take away an urgency that as a country, as a people, as a culture, we have gotten stuck on some unfortunate things. I think we've moved into a direction of hurting each other more and more, and not owning up to what we're doing. I think we have come to a point where it's time to look much more carefully and much more closely at ourselves, at what we're doing to ourselves, what we're doing to others, and what kind of future we want. How do we want this internal war to end peacefully, to end well, with positives on both sides? And maybe it's not just both, because I don't know if it's just two anymore. We've kind of fractioned. There are a lot of fractions and splits in our society. It's almost like a mosaic. And how do we put some more an element that will bind us much more strongly and much more positively together?